Hi, my name is Roland Suzoliņš and I professionally help IT companies grow their business. And today we are talking of how to sell your IT services in 2026. And this directly relates to companies which are in business of IT consultancy, software development, UX development, and similar services that you can provide to your customers remotely. Let's go. So in this video, essentially, we will talk about three things. First, what are the necessary conditions that must be in place for you to be able to sell anything at all? Second, we will talk, therefore, what are the approaches that work and what we know that doesn't work. And third, we will finish off with a practical list of things you should consider doing right now. And before we start, I invite you to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and leave comments what do you think about the three things that I propose to sell your services in 2026. So first, let's discuss what are necessary conditions for you to be able to sell your services. And most important thing is a trust of buyer that your company indeed can solve a specific problem, that you are somebody who can solve this problem at lower personal risk, and that you are better fit than alternatives. So let's explore each of those points. So how do you prove you can solve specific problem? Well, first of all, buyer must believe that you have done this before, and to make them believe, you need to do such things as publish case studies, provide customer quotes, and maybe if we talk about a bigger business, also organize calls with your previous customers. Second thing, you also need to prove that you know real industry needs, that you understand industry standards, regulations, you know best practice in industry, and hopefully you can also provide some demos which are super relevant to specific industry. And third thing, your customer also must believe that you have a team. You have a team which is knowledgeable, have the right certifications if they are required in the respective industry, have the right technical background, and also don't forget about things which relate to culture and work ethics. Because your buyer wants to feel confident that it is easy to work with your team, that he will enjoy working with you, you have high standards, high work ethics, and that also buyer's team will enjoy working with you. Next point, super important, is a personal risk. And you may wonder, Roland, why are you talking about personal risk? But you see, when buyers think about supplier, first of all, they think about their own skin. If they won't get fired for promoting this solution, for engaging with this vendor, won't they need to worry about how the project goes? Won't they need to do actually quite a lot of work themselves? And won't it cause trouble for others on their team, or in the worst case, for their management? And here is very important to understand that most buyers in B2B, they are not spending their personal money. Therefore, they don't care so much about the price. However, they care about their own skin. Therefore, you have to do everything possible to build trust and also lower perception of risks that buyers have. And third point, buyers also must think, they must believe that you are better fit than alternatives. And here, what is helping? It helps if you have some kind of frameworks available which allows you to stand out. It helps if you have some methodology, particularly if you have some industry-related methodology related to implementation of your services. And also it helps if you have some existing products, like some integrations modules ready, or some other modules ready to use, which would save time, speed up implementation, and also provide better quality. So all these things allow you to stand out, and if your buyer believes that you can solve the specific problem, you can do it at lower risk, and you're better fit than alternatives, consider the deal closed. Now, let's talk about implications. Basically, what should you do knowing these necessary conditions? So first thing here is to understand what things do not really work. And the first thing I would like to mention is that cold email doesn't work. Nobody is buying complex and high-risk services from a person who are sending them spam emails or chasing them on LinkedIn or making cold calls. So this is a tactics which almost doesn't work at all. Again, simply because nobody buys high value, high complexity services from random guy on the street, or in this case, on the internet. Second thing and third thing is that things that relate about scaling. So first of all, referrals do not scale, unfortunately. And also relationship doesn't scale. So you should not try to market your services like, I don't know, Microsoft or Accenture does. Because these companies have like an army of salespeople who can build up relationships and so on. This is not how small or medium-sized IT company can do their business, because these things are expensive and they just do not scale. So what to do instead? So instead you need following things. First of all, you need to be able to get attention from your target audience. Now, how do you get attention? Obviously, you get attention with the content. And what content is? Content is things like speaking at industry event, running a webinar, running a seminar, preparing a white paper or ebook, or doing a demo at trade show. And all these things basically work in such a way that you are providing your buyers with something that they need to know, right? And what they need to know? They need to know things that would help them do their job better, help them to appear more competent, to be more in control, or not to miss something. So, and here again we are returning to the point we discussed earlier, right? And that actually you need to show you can solve a specific problem, right? For specific person. We will return to this again and again, right? So first thing to get attention is to produce a content, provide your buyers with knowledge that they need to do their job better. Second thing, obviously, when you are developing this content, you want to demonstrate competence. Obviously, you want to show you know the industry, you have the right framework, right team, and so on. You must not do it in too salesy or too pushing way, but always think about how to demonstrate your competence. And similarly, regarding building trust. Again, it's always better not just to talk or say that you provide excellent customer service, but actually show your NPS score, show the numbers, show what your customers are saying, customer quotes, and so on. And the next thing which is super important is to sell the first step offer. Now let's talk about what the first step offer is. And first step offer is something that allows you to have a collaboration with buyers group. And group here is super important because even CEO typically doesn't make decisions alone. Typically there are from 4 to 6 people who are in charge of deciding about supplier. So you want not to have collaboration with one person, you want to have collaboration with a group, right? And ideally you want to offer things like a workshop, for example, product discovery workshop, maybe design sprint, audit, proof of concept or something. Basically you want to sell not the big project, because nobody buys big project just like that, but you want to sell the first step, the first collaboration with your buyers so that they can first of all get the value, get aligned in their buying vision. You have a chance to demonstrate your competence, your work ethics, etc., etc. And you want to end this first step offer, for example, this workshop, with buyers feeling confident that you are the right supplier that they want, obviously, to work with. All right, now we discussed a couple of things. We discussed what are necessary conditions for you to be able to close a deal. Then we discussed what are the tactics to close the deal. We talked about getting attention, demonstrating competence, building trust, selling first step offer. Now let's talk about what do you do before you are actually ready to get attention, demonstrate competence, sell the first step offer. So now we're talking about your strategic choices. And these are super important for you to be able actually to stand out in the market as a specialist, to get attention of your buyers. Also, it's super important for you to be able to charge a premium price. And if you're considering expanding to international markets, this is a must have. You have to be very clear about your strategic choices, or else it will be difficult for your buyers to answer themselves, okay, why are we dealing company in, let's say, Latvia, Finland, or Uruguay, although we are located, let's say, in Sweden, right? So let's explore a bit strategic choices. So if we talk about strategic choices, there are 4 of them, and let's start with the first one. So first one is specialization. Specialization is super important thing because it answers questions: what do you do, for whom? So who is the audience? Whom are you working with? Is it fintech companies? Is it large enterprises? Is it government organizations? What are key results that you are providing, and how are you different, right? And these are things which must be clear from the first glance on your website, right? Big mistake that a lot of IT companies make is that this first screen on their website is not really talking about what they do, but instead actually is confusing buyers. But how to know if your specialization is described good enough? Here for that I have actually developed a specialized Roland specialization bot, and if you provide it with your URL or you submit some of your materials, it will provide you its view or its evaluation about your specialization and will provide some recommendations. So I invite you to give it a try. The link is available in description, and tell me in comments, do you find it useful? Does it work for you well, or should I change or improve something? It would be very interesting for me to know. Now that we have sorted out specialization, let's move to the second thing, and second thing is actually being super clear about who your customer is, right? And here the best is to actually create a database or create list using tools such as Apollo, LinkedIn Sales Navigator. There are also many other available databases, right? And if you focus on your ideal customer profile, it allows you first of all to focus your business, focus the knowledge of your team on serving one certain type of customer. Second thing, it means that you get the benefit of fit. Basically, everybody that you are marketing to, everybody that you are selling to are somewhat similar. So your developers do not need to make big context switching from one customer to another, and over time you only become better at what you do, because essentially you are doing the same thing again and again. So this is benefit of specialization and serving one type of customer. Obviously, your marketing also, it becomes simpler, just one audience. It becomes cheaper, more efficient, because you are targeting narrowly. You don't need to pay for targeting very large number of people. And obviously you also do not need a large team. And actually today, in era of AI, I would say that for many small size IT companies, it doesn't really make sense to have in-house marketing, because in terms of content, what you need to create, things like case studies, scripts for webinars, blogs, etc., a lot of help comes from AI, right? Of course, you cannot leave everything to AI. You need to think about structure, basic facts, messages, but the hard stuff, the writing stuff, AI can help you in big way. All right, then third thing, if we talk about your strategic choices, buyer's persona. So basically you need to figure out who exactly is your buyer, and you need to describe it just like in this example, which is taken from one actual project we did for a customer. So in this case, buyer's persona was chief energy engineer, and we described this person's demographics, place in organization, their goals, priorities, jobs that they want to get done, risks that they are concerned with, how they make decisions, what are their challenges, what would be possible objections that our sales team is hearing, and the channels that we can use to reach this audience. And finally, fourth point in our strategic choices is actually developing a unique value proposition. So let's talk a bit of what unique value proposition is. So unique value proposition is your unique value. Basically, a list of the values you provide your customer. So, and you use this list basically as a reference to use whenever appropriate in your presentations, on your website, in your blogs, press releases, basically everywhere. So you are injecting these messages everywhere. And first of all, your team must be super aware what actually is your value proposition. So again, you describe your value, you verbalize, and with help of AI it's super easy, and you inject it everywhere so that for every visitor to your website it's clear what exactly you do, what are your values, and it never creates some kind of confusion, or you never have a situation that you have some kind of a huge value, let's say for your technical buyers, but just because the person, let's say, responding to RFP doesn't know it or has forgotten about it, you do not include it in your RFP, or it's not available on your website and so on. Because, you know, everything that you are not talking about, your customers cannot imagine or guess. So everything that exists but you are not talking about, that you are not featuring on your website, in customers' mind doesn't exist. And for you to be able to charge premium price, you have to be super good with describing your unique value proposition. Alright, that's it in super condensed, very short format. If you want really to master business growth for IT services, I would recommend you consider exploring my masterclass, and in case you consider attending, feel free to schedule a simple 1 hour free coaching call with me to discuss how this masterclass or how I can help you grow your business. Thank you, and let's see you next time online.